that's all. Yeah, I'll need that for the deal, but I'll leave it to you. So.
Okay.
We're live.
Good evening, everyone. This work session meeting of the Lancaster City Council is called to order on Monday, April the 27th, 2026 at 7 p.m. I will ask the City Secretary to read the item.
Item 1, receive a presentation from the Lancaster Independent School District, LISD Superintendent of Schools, Dr. A.K. Pereira, regarding the proposed 2026 bond election.
All right, City Manager.
Mayor, members of council, this evening we will have a presentation regarding the 2026 bond election, and our superintendent of schools is present. I notice we do also have members of the Board of Trustees that we want to also acknowledge. But Dr. Pereira will give you an overview of the election propositions that are on the budget, the bond election for this Saturday.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Harrison, and City Council, as well as everyone in the audience. Thank you for being with us this evening. But really, truly, I'm coming here to present about the bond. But honestly, I'm coming to propose a $547 million economic impact to our city. And so I have with me Ms. Kimberly Simpson, who will be sharing the majority of that information. And I also want to acknowledge I have a couple board members here. I have Trustee Cortez here, as well as our Board Secretary, Ms. Morris, and usually our newest member, Dr. Reed, who's running unopposed. So, Ms. Simpson, I'm going to turn it over to you because I know our time is limited. And while she's doing that, I'm going to share that economic impact with all of you on the board.
Good evening, Mayor Harrison, City Council, City Manager Malden Jones. I am Kimberly Simpson, the Chief of Communications in Lancaster ISD, and I am proud to share information regarding our bond in Lancaster ISD for 2026. Our Board of Trustees called for a $376 million bond proposal, and this is going to invest in the schools and improving the schools and facilities in Lancaster ISD, all with no tax rate increase. Now, typically, school districts go out for a bond to allow the district to borrow money to do just that, renovate schools and facilities. How a bond election works is typically we do extensive capital outlay, what we call a capital outlay committee, and we go around and we assess our facilities. And typically during this time, we provide all of that information to our board. We present that information to our superintendent and our board, and they in turn made the decision to go out for a bond so that we can essentially, with the approval of our community, receive the $376 million needed to do extensive renovations in Lancaster ISD. So typically school districts hold a bond election to do just that, receive the funds by voter approved bonds so that we can do much needed renovations in Lancaster ISD. One of the things that I do want to point out regarding our bond in Lancaster ISD is that it is no tax rate increase. Again, I'm going to say that there is no tax rate increase to our citizens in Lancaster. And we are able to do that because property values in the community have grown and the district has paid down our debt significantly over the years. And again, I do want to point out that a school district cannot go out for a bond if they are not fiscally responsible, and I am proud to say that our finance department has maintained a superior rating. We have an A+ rating by the Texas Education Agency, so I want to clap that up for our finance team. So we are putting all that together that has allowed us to go out for a bond. And I do want to point out that our Board of Trustees was very intentional about the amount of money that they wanted to go to the community and ask for. At $376 million, that is at a point to where it will be no tax rate increase. Now, I just say no tax rate increase, so if you go and vote between now and the 28th or on May 2nd, when you go to your ballot, there is going to be ballot language, and it is going to say this is a property tax increase. I've received several calls from community members, from our citizens, and again, we've been very intentional about sharing what is going to be on your ballot language. It is going to say this is a property tax increase, but the thing is, by Texas law, every school district has to have that on the ballot, that this is a property tax increase, and it is required even if you're not raising the taxes with your bond, and that is the case with us. There is no tax rate increase. However, when you do go to the ballot to vote, you will see that language at the top. So we're bringing that to everyone's attention because it can be confusing. We are aware of that, so we just want you to know that that is required by law, even if it does not impact us. Now, what is going to be in Lancaster ISD bond? We have 4 different propositions, and individuals will have to vote on each proposition individually. Proposition A is for facilities upgrades. This is $322 million, but this is going to include updates to every campus facility in Lancaster ISD. This is going to be safety and security upgrades, HVAC system, plumbing, literally everything that we've gone through in our capital outlay improvement process to address. So when you see the $322 million, please know that that includes all 10 campuses in Lancaster ISD with a very, very detailed list of the things that they will get. And that list is on our website at bond.lancasterisd.org. Proposition B is for instructional technology. This is $3.5 million dedicated to upgrading staff and student devices within Lancaster ISD. Proposition C is for our indoor practice facility renovations. This is going to include our indoor facility at Lancaster High School. This facility was built over 20 years ago, and we will be adding in an HVAC system. Right now, it currently does not house one, and so this will allow our students to be able to participate and have practice in a cooler element during the warmer months. In addition to that, we'll be expanding our weight rooms for the capacity. One of the good things, if you know about Lancaster, I know you guys know, we have very good sports teams, and our sports teams have grown over the years. So when they built the indoor practice facility, it was great at the beginning, but we've kind of outgrown the space in there. So we're going to be expanding the weight rooms as well as the locker rooms, as well as coaching office space that does not exist right now. In addition to that, Proposition D is going to be for our stadium facilities. Lancaster High School Tiger Stadium, currently right now, our restrooms are not in compliance. We do not have changing tables, so we'll be addressing that so we are in compliance with ADA. In addition to that, we'll be renovating the turf and replacing the track. You know anything about the track? The Tigers tear it up, and I literally mean that in the most positive way, but we are burning up the track because we're extremely fast, but we also need to update it for our student athletes to have a good experience while they train. In addition to that, we'll be updating the turf. Turf typically takes about 10 to 15 years, depending on the life of it. We have several different rentals. We have all of our campuses who currently right now practice on our stadium field, so we'll be addressing those needs as well. I am not going to go directly into all of everything because I will be here for a long time, but a couple of things that I do want to point out that is going to be a big ticket item for Lancaster High School, and that's going to stand out. It's going to be the new building that individuals will see in Proposition A. It'll be a new career and technical education center. This is going to be an addition at Lancaster High School. It'll be a new building, and it will house our career and technical education courses. So this is going to be for everything. One of the things that we'll be able to add is esports, heavy equipment, diesel and commercial truck driving, and aviation maintenance. This is going to be what I would consider our signature project with the bond. It's going to allow us to not only be a standout district within the Best Southwest, but be the premier district when it comes to CTE learning. So when people say, well, what are we going to see? This is going to be that one building that you will see, and it's going to make us stand out. Currently, right now, there is no standalone CTE center in our area, and so we'll be one of the only school districts to be able to house that at Lancaster High School. A couple of things that I do want to point out is going to be some transitions for our GWC building that currently houses our 6th grade campus. Those students will be able to transition to our middle school, and then we will end up demolishing the 6th grade center. Our capital outlay assessments have declared that that building, although it's been with us for several years, it would not make sense to invest more money into that building, so we'll demolish it, and we still own that land. So for future planning, we'll be able to do something with that land eventually. Those students will be housed at Lancaster Middle School, and since we will be moving our students out of the CTE courses into our CTE building, that will allow us to have additional space in our high school. So we'll be transitioning those 9th grade students back to the high school to have one comprehensive high school. That's going to save on transportation and logistics. And then that will allow our BAMO 9th grade campus to transition into a facility for our enrollment center, as well as our office spaces and for our WeBo market and clinic. Currently, right now, several of our departments are housed at the A.C.T building, and honestly, we have plumbing issues with that building every week, apparently, for our departments who are housed there. So it's going to allow us to utilize that BAMO space for professional learning for our enrollment center that is currently housed there, and to provide an adequate space for our WeBo market and our WeBo clinic eventually. So again, we are trying to be very creative with the spacing that we have, very mindful with the amount of money and funds that we have, all while utilizing the things that we need, and also expanding where we should be expanding. In addition to that, our BLE campus is going to transition to an early childhood center. This academy will focus on pre-K3, pre-K4, and kindergarten. Currently, right now, we have pre-K4 and kindergarten classes at several of our elementary campuses. That will allow us to combine all of those classes in one space while alleviating space needs at other campuses. So it'll give us the opportunity to be able to create more space at the elementary campuses while addressing the need to have an early childhood dedicated campus in Lancaster ISD. And one of the things I do want to point out is Lancaster Middle School. Although this is one of our newest buildings, it is important that we share that, unfortunately, we've had some significant issues with this campus since we opened it up. The HVAC system has not worked properly, so we're going to be able to address all of those needs, including roof repairs. And when that building was built, unfortunately, the outside athletic areas were not upgraded, so we'll be able to upgrade those needs as well. And so it will allow us to be able to utilize Lancaster Middle School fully to its capacity and allow our students to be able to have sporting events there and a well-rounded education without having to travel to our high school for their things. They'll be able to do it at one dedicated location. And I think I pretty much have gone through the indoor and the Proposition B and Proposition C and Proposition D. Pretty much everything that I stated, the stadiums and the indoor facilities. But again, some quick facts for you all to remember. $376 million bond election, no tax rate increase, no tax rate increase. And every campus is going to receive improvements except GWC, which will be demolished. And again, we have 4 propositions that will be voted on separately. So people will need to do their research so they can, individually vote on each proposition. And what I share with people is that when the school district goes out and they put 4 different propositions on a ballot, it is important that individuals do their research so they can understand how things are possibly connected in the different propositions. And then again, everything will focus on safety, security, and our aging facilities. And remember, our new CTE building, that will be the only new building that you'll see with this bond, but it'll be a great new addition to Lancaster ISD. And then technology and infrastructure, that is all located in Proposition B. And then again, our transition campus, our BLE 6th and 9th grade transitions are planned, but they are not immediate. We will have to pass the bond on May 2nd and then implement a transition process. And again, all of this information is located on our website at bond.lancasterisd.org.
Jim, I tell you what, you certainly feel the passion.
Thank you.
You graduated from Lancaster.
I did. Thank you. In 2001.
You came back and boy, you are on the moon.
Thank you.
And but I'm so glad that you made it clear that our taxes won't go up.
Yes.
And that's awesome.
The tax
And you're
rate.
gonna do all this?
Yes, we're going to do everything. I'll let Dr.
All
Pereira
right.
speak on that.
Absolutely. They intend us to do everything that's on that list. Again, it's a $376 million bond. has the potential to make almost 500, actually I'll just say almost $600 million impact on the community, creating 3,600 jobs as well. So again, with no tax rate increase.
No tax rate.
Taxes always have that opportunity,
Well,
no
yeah.
matter what, right? Because I'd say, because also you guys have done a good job investing in our community, that the property values have increased. So that always has an impact. But the bond, with or without, we have no tax rate increase.
Gotcha. The council, do you have any comments or questions?
Can I get a poster put up that says the taxes won't increase because these people have been killing me. I'm running for
It's a
re-election.
no tax rate increase. There's a difference.
We got to be very specific in that.
Correct, and that's what ours says. It's
Rate.
the rate. With or without this bond, your taxes always have that option.
Because the property value is going up.
Correct. As a homeowner, I like my
thank
property
you.
value going
Thank
up.
you. And this is recorded, everybody, so
Yes.
if you like to go online later and look at this again at your convenience, it is recorded. Thank you.
One of the things, and I want to thank you again, more so for explaining thoroughly, but I also appreciate, because that was going to be one of my questions, and what was going to be the current bond rating that you all actually have, and to find out that you have an A+,
Plus,
you know,
yes,
by
ma'am.
the state. You know, I think that's wonderful.
We work very hard in trying to ensure that we leverage every dollar that our community affords us.
Well, we thank you.
Thank you for your time and
Anyone else?
I have a question, actually. You said we will be building one new building. Has the site been chosen yet?
it will be on the same campus where our high school is, located in that grassy area in front of, well, off Dallas Avenue, where the stadium, you see the stadium, everything, that grassy area there.
In front?
Yes, yes, sir.
Anyone else? Listen, again, thank you for that presentation. Again, Kim, you're on the run. Thank you.
Thank you, and
All right,
election day is
thank
May
you.
2nd.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you all.
Council, that concludes our business for the special work session. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those who oppose, say no. Those who abstain, say abstain. All right, we're adjourned at 7:16. That moves us to our regular meeting. Again, good evening. This regular meeting of the Lancaster City Council is called to order on Monday, April the 27th, 2026 at 7:16. We would have our invocation by Reverend John Richardson with the Z Church. He's going to lead us in prayer, and following we will have our Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilmember Mayor. We would ask everybody to stand, please.
Let us pray. Eternal God, deity, present and loving, you are omniscient, you're omnipresent, you're all places at all time. We thank you again for your divine covering over us. Father, we thank you again for the privilege of being able to stand before your throne and petition you. But we must admit we have not done well when it comes to loving our neighbor. We thank you, God, because Jesus taught us that we are to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. And only you can give us that kind of power, that kind of presence, that we can look beyond our faults to see our brothers and sisters, our neighbors' need. God, we put before your throne today this council who have given themselves to the mission and not to the money. We pray, Father, that you may give them wisdom to lead and guide us, for we're living in tumultuous, troubled times, all the way from national, global to this city, that we thank you that you have guarded us from those who seek power, prominence, position, that they might humble themselves and serve the people. We also pray for those who serve this city, as we pray every second and fourth Monday night. They are on the streets nightly, 24/7, guarding and protecting us. So, Father, we ask your blessings upon those fire, those who police, those who serve our city to make it a safer place for all of us. We ask your presence upon us. And then, Father, we pray for the church house who give faith and hope in times like these. And then, oh God, we pray that as we come together to build a greater city, a greater nation, we ask your guidance. You are supreme, you are superior. Without your help, we cannot accomplish that, for we are all different, unique. But together, God, we can come together as one. We ask your blessings upon this assembly, the purpose for which it was planned. We ask your blessings upon the people in this place. We ask it all in the wonderful, powerful, magnificent name of our Savior, Jesus, Yeshua, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please place the flag. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated.
All right, at this time, we have a presentation from the 2026 Best Southwest Partnerships Mayoral Scholarship. And you see that young lady up on that screen? She's smart, she's intelligent, and we're getting ready to present her with a scholarship. But I'm going to read just a little about her. Because it is an honor to introduce an exceptional young leader whose achievement and character and vision for the future truly embodies the spirit of this scholarship. Kay Leanna, did I say that right?
Kay Leanna.
Okay. Harvey, that's the last name, right?
Yes, sir.
Is a proud graduate of Lancaster High School and has demonstrated remarkable dedication to academic excellence, earning both her high school diploma and an associate degree through an early college program. All the while, I want y'all to hear this, maintaining an outstanding 5.55. And beyond the classroom, Kayleana has shown strong leadership and heart. As a cheerleader, she she shows forth teamwork, discipline, and encouragement. As a mentor, she has guided younger students in pursuing advanced academic opportunity, helping them believe in their own potential. Her commitment to serve is equally inspiring, from volunteering in nursing homes to supporting community initiatives that provide for families in need. Please join me in congratulating the Best Southwest Partnership Mayor Scholarship candidate, Kayleana Christine Harvey. That means you get 1,000 and I get 1,000. Council, y'all can come and join us if you want.
Council, y'all come right here for me.
There you go.
I'm going to insert myself in there as my student.
There you go. Yeah, come on down. Come on down. This is our president of the Best Southwest Partnership.
All right, on the count of three times. 1, 2, 3. All right. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3.
Now send that to CNN, ABC. Did you care to have words? Either one of you?
I'm just proud to be a father.
She did this all on her own.
She is very
All on her own.
intelligent, I can see that. And who is this young man?
I'm her brother.
Oh, you want to say something?
I just love her.
Oh.
She deserves it. She really does deserve it because she did a lot to get to this point. Like,
all right. And you would know that.
I would know that. She deserves it.
All right, congrats. You want to say something?
I'm grateful.
You just-
Thank God. He got me to this point.
Okay. Well, congratulations again. We're proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Good job.
I'll keep it up.
Y'all will.
That deserves one more hand. All right, we have one proclamation. Arbor Day. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. Whereas trees can reduce erosion, precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fire, and countless other wood products. Whereas trees in our city increase property value, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community in. Whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now therefore I, Clyde C. Harrison, Mayor of the City of Lancaster, and on behalf of the City of Council of the City of Lancaster, Texas, do hereby proclaim April 27, 2026 as Arbor Day in the City of Lancaster, and urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. I further urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of future generations. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hands and have caused the seal of the City of Lancaster, Texas, to be affixed this 27th day on April 2026. Clyde C. Harrison, Mayor of the City of Lancaster. And I believe Tim?
Yep.
Is coming. Council, you can join me in this special day as well. Carol, is something that I'm presenting this, but the trees that you planted years ago on Pleasant Run.
Yep. 2003.
Yes, they are. I mean, they are up there. I tell you,
And I watered them for 2 years.
You want to get on the other side of Tim?
No, I'm good back
Since
here.
you the tree lady? All right. Tim, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay.
One, two.
All right. You want to say something, Tim?
Just enjoy the parks and the trees that Carol planted out there. It should be good.
There were 128 trees that I planted throughout the city.
Well, let's give it up for the tree lady. All right, we up to our public testimony citizens comment. And I would say that we have how many?
15.
15 that wants to speak, so we're going to limit your speech to 2 minutes. At this time, citizens who have pre-registered before the call to order will be allowed to speak on any matter for the length of time, at this particular time, not to exceed 2 minutes. No council action or discussion may take place on the matter until such matter has been placed on the agenda and posted in accordance with law. Anyone desiring to speak on an item scheduled for a public hearing is requested to hold their comments until the public hearing on that item. City Secretary.
Okay, we have Joe Lavender, 1130 Bradley, Duncanville, Texas.
How y'all doing this evening? I watched you, Mayor Harrison. It was amazing how quick the council came up to celebrate people who were involved with different aspects of Lancaster. I'm a former Lancaster resident. I just want to see the same council members stand up for the appointed officials in the city of Lancaster. It's ridiculous to see the foolishness that goes on behind the chief of the fire department's back. There are too many people here that are grown and adult that know better. These members of the association, that's one thing. Members of the department is something else. You support your chief just like you support your city manager. Just like the city manager supports the city council. But it's time for the foolishness to stop. And every single one of you are an adult, you know better. Stop the foolishness and stop it now.
Okay, next we have Raymond De Los Santos, P.O. Box 856, Lancaster.
Mayor, members of council, I'm speaking on behalf of all 49 members of the Lancaster Firefighters Association. I'm here because every reasonable effort to communicate has been exhausted. The association has sent emails, even utilizing media, but still no response. Having to stand up here is not just frustrating, it's embarrassing. My son recently asked me something that caught me off guard. Can you get fired for making this public? I told him what I've always believed. If you're doing the right thing and you stand by it, you move forward anyways. Like the saying goes, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good people to do nothing. And we refuse to stand by. Our priorities are simple: benefits, workplace safety, and advocating for members during discipline. This should not be a surprise. And when it comes to safety, we will not be silenced. Right now, we are facing a retention, paramedic, and staffing crisis that is not sustainable. I won't go into the details since we've already made them public, but one thing the city has not done is challenge our data. And I'll say this clearly: if we're wrong, prove it. Because another hard fact is this: facts don't care whether you like them or not. They can't be changed. I've had one-on-one conversations with the fire chief, and even he has acknowledged the paramedic crisis. The numbers speak for themselves. In the last 5 months, your fire department has mandatory members 232 times. That's 232 times that someone wasn't able to go home to their families. That doesn't even include voluntary overtime. Let that sink in. We are already struggling, and with the opening of Station 4, the strain will only increase. You have already increased staffing in anticipation for the new station, and we are still barely getting by. There's a reason people say you can't pour from an empty cup. Our firefighters are being stretched beyond their limits. If seated leadership and the council are not willing to communicate, so I'll leave you with this: doing nothing is a decision. And right now, it's a decision that carries real consequences.
Yeah.
We have Courtney Peterson, 433 Valentine Court, Burleson, Texas. Emailed her. Okay. We have Leanne Peterson, 2508 Elliott Avenue, Mansfield, Texas.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I stand before you again not as a resident, but as a mother. My son, Brandon Peterson, died on December 29, 2020. That picture back there has his casket on the back of that fire truck. His death was the result of his job as a firefighter for the city of Lancaster. During the process of Brandon's workers' compensation claim, our family faced more than grief. We were told that firefighters had been given orders not to speak to us, and we later learned that the city manager sat on the very board that was we were fighting Brandon's claim with. Despite that, we moved forward and we proved our case in court. A judge ruled in Brandon's favor, confirming his death was caused by his job. The city who appealed that decision The city chose to appeal that decision. The case went before a second judge who also ruled in Brandon's favor, again affirming that the city of Lancaster was responsible for his death. Brandon was recognized by the state of Texas as a line of duty death in late 2022. His name was added to the National Fallen Firefighters Memorial in Emmitsburg, Maryland in 2024. Two of Brandon's fellow Lancaster firefighters traveled to that memorial to represent this city. They were given time off, but they had to pay their own way for travel, housing, and food while representing this very city. That matters. Since 2020, 55 firefighters have left this department through resignation or termination, and that number does not include my son. 55. That is not a statistic to explain away, it's a warning sign. When that many trained professionals walk away, it should cause leadership to pause and ask why. And I have more, but y'all have limited us, so I will be back.
Thank you.
Then we have Billy Johnson, 519 North Lane, DeSoto, Texas.
Good evening to the mayor and the council, to all these wonderful people here. It's so good to see so many age groups and the whole community represented here tonight. I just want to ask the question, how long? How long? And what is the message that we're sending out to our community? Is it that our elected officials are not safe? Or it's not safe to be an elected official? It's not safe to be a leader in Lancaster? That if you get in leadership, you're left on your own? There's no protection? That you can go out on the public any system and say, I'm going to kill that black nigger fire chief? And you can come back and say, I got a Hispanic, I don't want a Hispanic on a position. A wetback shouldn't be there. How long are we going to allow this man and his family to continue to live under death threats and insults and pictures like a pig painted on the walls and all of these things that are going on? Where is the representation of the leadership and the employees as a group? How come we are allowing for them to come repeatedly with these unsupported accusations that are never proven? It's been almost 2 years. It's ongoing. At some point, there'll be someone to step up and say, if you have an accusation, show me the foundation. Show me the information. Give it some credit. Show me something. And otherwise, this man and his family are going to continue to be put under this pressure of threat and death. And I'm just calling on the council and the leadership and the community. Let's put a stop to this insane action. This is amazing. It breaks my heart. It really breaks my heart to think. My family, we have fire department, police officers in my family. And I know the threat they live by. They have dangerous jobs. I know the cancer rates for fire department people. I know the numbers. And a lot of the cancer that firemen get from being in fires and the fumes, so forth. So I just call on the council, let's step up and support this chief and stop this idiocy. Thank you.
Next, we have Gabrielle Eckert, 521 Don Lee Road, Lancaster, Texas.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, council members. My name is Gabrielle, and I'm reading a letter in the behalf of Bo Jackson. Dear City Council, Mayor, and all in attendance, I was hired by the City of Lancaster on April the 6th of 2004 and currently still employed holding the position of Battalion Chief in Operations on Z Shift. My statement tonight is hopefully to provide a clear view of the state of the Lancaster Fire Department as the employees see it, and I trust that you will open your hearts to hear all parties out and help us change the course going forward. The Lancaster Fire Department has always had a retention issue since I have been an employee, so I will not sit here and act like this is a new issue under Fire Chief Kenneth Johnson. But there is no denying that the issue has gotten worse under his leadership, especially in the last 2 to 3 years. The issue why firefighter and paramedics have always looked for employment in other places has been mostly pay and benefits. That is no longer the case due to the council and city manager emphasizing that the issue over the last 10 years or so, and we are very appreciative for their attention to that matter. Over the last 7 years, we are only retaining 52% of the employees we had hired. This number is not sustainable due to the amount of training we have to allocate to any one person we hire. On average takes 18 to 36 months to train every person we hire to make them a fully functioning firefighter or paramedics. Many employees have been hired and sent to firefighter EMT school about 9 months, then to paramedic school about 8 months, to then leave and find employment within the month of completing their training. Financially, yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Catherine Hill, 535 North Blue Grove Road, Lancaster, Texas.
Mayor, council members, I am here on behalf of the second part of Bo Jackson's letter. The chain of command is a vital part of public safety. In short, it basically says that you are to report concerns and issues to your next level of command. But if that level of command does not listen or address your concerns or issues, you are allowed to reach out to the next level for an unbiased decision. Myself and multiple members, including our association president, have tried to reach out to the city manager multiple times regarding a list of different issues with either no response or very generic in nature. I believe that as an employee of the city of Lancaster for the past 22 years, that if I request a face-to-face meeting with the city manager to hear out an issue of difference between myself and the fire chief, that should be awarded. Communication is the most vital part of any relationship, and all communication with the city management has been cut off. How are we to negate our internal issues when the city manager is not willing to listen to us with an open heart and mind? In my humble opinion, Our two biggest concerns we face is not that the fire chief has stopped working with us to address the retention of our employees, but also that the city manager has cut us all communication with her employees to hear our issues to make sure that the leadership she has hired is working effectively. Chief Johnson continually stated since the day he was hired that everything we should do be evaluated by 3 E's. He stated we look to make sure everything we do is effective, efficient, and enjoyable. When it comes to employee retention and the cohesiveness of our organization currently, we are not effective, we are not efficient, and it is not definitely enjoyable. Thank you for your time on this matter, and my hope is that you listen to the men and women of this organization and help us start moving our organization forward. Sincerely, Bo Jackson. Thank you.
Next we have Rashawn Ford, 211 North Henry Street, Lancaster, Texas.
Mayor, members of council, since we got all these people here, we might as well talk about city events, huh? Yeah. All right, for starters, we have the Cinco de Mayo celebration that is going to be at the Recreation Center on May 1st. That'll be from 5 until 8. It's going to be a pool party, so make sure that you families can bring out their swimsuits and all that good stuff. Family-friendly swimsuits. We have our Built for Better Mental Health and Wellness Fair. That'll be May 2nd. That'll be from 10 until 2. That'll be at the Lancaster Recreation Center Grand Hall. That's an opportunity there'll be a lot of expert resources, fitness demos, a lot of different health vendors. We're doing some free health screenings. We partnered with Parkland Health to do free mammograms the day of. We did pre-registrations for it, but there will be registrations on site as well for that one. Again, that's going to be May 2nd at the Lancaster Recreation Center Grand Hall. On May 8th, we are we are teaming up with the Country View Golf Course, and we are promoting a Night on the Green. This is a free opportunity for people who have been so interested in the golf course but never had an opportunity to go over there. This is a free day, a free event. There'll be free golf balls, free golf clubs, for you to be able to really experience the golf club life. On it, it'll be from 6:30 until 8. They told me it's not. I was trying to explain to Jordan the difference between an open bar and the bar being open. He's young, so he didn't know for it. And so the bar will be open at that part, but so will all of the food and all that good stuff. And then last but not least, just so it's on your radar, the SLC will have the Mother's Daughter Brunch on May 9th from 11 until 1, and that will be at the Lancaster Recreation Grand Hall. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next we have Brett Cook, 7513 Kingston Drive, Rowlett, Texas.
I practiced for 3 minutes. I got to read fast. Sorry. Good evening. I'm here to clear up an egregious misrepresentation told to you, the community, by Kenneth Johnson, the fire chief. He has said repeatedly on social media and on TV media, you are fully protected. What he failed to mention was in what way. My name is Brett Cook, and I served the city for 10 years. My father served before me for this city. I was hired as an EMT. I went to paramedic school, fire officer school, instructor school, rope rescue school, vehicle rescue tech, as well as countless other interdepartmental trainings. I spent 10 years perfecting my craft. So when you called 911, you got somebody that knew, had been there, had done that, had seen that. Driver operator school, aerial operator school, pump operator school. But besides all that, due to the hostile work environment created by Chief Johnson and his inability to lead firemen, 21% of this fire department's membership has left. Guys with as much or more experience than myself have chosen to leave. So ask yourself, when you call 911 or when you ask for any service at all, whether that be a waiter, a mechanic, a dentist, or a doctor, do you want that person to show up and say, hello, it's my first day? When your life is on the line, do you want them to be like, let me try and figure this out for you? Or do you want the guy that's like, I have you, with a comforting voice who isn't stressed because he's been there and done that and seen it before? Let me see the last thing you want when you call 911 is somebody to say, let me try and figure this out for you. Let me call. Let me figure it out. With that many people gone, with that much experience gone, hundreds of years of experience gone, you have ambulances arriving at your house with 2 people that have a month or less of experience at times. Or a different city showing up to respond to you, driving from a totally different city to respond. So yes, we will always come. We will always be there. But who you get to show up may not be the people that you could have had.
Next we have Rudy Anderson, 1312 North School Road, Lancaster, Texas.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, community. I would like to say that I'm here first of all to support of Chief Johnson. I've been a resident of Lancaster now for 22 years, and I've seen some changes come to Lancaster that's good, and I've seen some changes come to Lancaster that's bad. I've seen things happening now that remind me of when I first moved here 22 years ago, when I had people coming after me for cleaning out my own property at the residence where I live, because they wanted the wooded area to stay rolled up, because their thing was, if you clean it out, they're going to start coming up through the back. And one of the guys went to, one of my neighbors went to the other neighbor on the other side and told another neighbor that I was cleaning out the property, they were going to have to do something about it. And he said, what? He said, who you talking about? He pointed over there at him. He said, who you talking about, Rudy? He didn't know that I had met this other neighbor. And we had some things in common because I was a labor union leader and he was also a member of a labor union. But at the time, you know, I'm thinking like, okay, but this guy's mother came to visit with him and she told me, she said, son, let me tell you something. Don't worry about him because the change has come to Lancaster and everybody's not ready for that change. And as I look at the situation with Chief Johnson, it made me wonder whether or not that change has come yet in the order that it should be coming. And this is ridiculous. I want to applaud you for the trees. Many days I went down Pleasant Run wondering when we were going to get a middle area, a medium area that looked at it somewhat resembled what they had over in DeSoto. And we finally got that with the landscaping that's coming down, the trees that's coming in now. But this is ridiculous what's happening to this man. You know, you judge people on the job that they're doing. And to me, there's other things that he's being judged on. And I'll let y'all figure that out. Thank you.
Say that.
Next we have Brenda Johnson, 2541 Christine Lane, Midlothian, Texas.
Hello everyone. I come from fire department, so I know fire department, and I am this man's wife. I am the one who is living this with him. And what I've heard so far has been about the department, the people who signed up to serve, not about this community, not about these citizens. Nobody's asked these citizens how they feel. I'm only hearing what the association is saying. That's unfair. I've watched this man. I've had the privilege of watching him give his whole heart to the community, to this community for over 8 years, to the fire service for 40 years. He's a man who's poured everything into everyone he's ever met. His employees, his family. He touches everyone along the way. He's very dedicated. But what's bothering me the most, as hard as for me to understand, is those that he hired, the ones that he lifted up, and the ones that he gave a chance. How do y'all stand here against him right now? How do y'all do that? It's not right. It's not right, and it's affecting our whole family. It's affecting this community. You guys keep talking about what you're not getting at the fire station. Join with this man. He wants the best for you. He has sleepless nights where he's trying to make everything better for this community, for this neighborhood, for this city. For this city. Right now, I feel that there's extra effort being put in to get rid of him instead of joining and helping him. It appears extremely one-sided right now. But in it, I want to tell you, Chief Kenneth Johnson, that I'm very proud Your character speaks loudly right now.
Yes.
You're not perfect, but you have been persistent.
Yes.
Even in lead and have been leading with perseverance.
All right.
I'm very proud.
Yes.
Let's call them Judas.
Yes.
Next, we have Solomon Bachman, 1219 Wildwood Trail, Lancaster, Texas.
Mayor and Council, I'm very glad that Fire Chief Johnson has a very dedicated wife. I'd like to talk to you, though, about messages. We heard a little while ago about Lancaster ISD and the bonds, okay? And they have a message. There's no tax rate increase. And they tell us that because property values have gone up. And so we're paying more taxes already. And they want the bonds to pass. And so they say there's no more tax rate increase. But we're already paying more taxes. And the subtext there is taxes. The question that we should be asking is, would taxes go down if the bonds don't pass? That's the question. That's where we are. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't vote for the bonds. The schools need to be funded. But the message that we have to ask is, who is sending the message? The question is, where are we getting our information? Now, you're receiving messages from people. You've got Fire Chief Johnson, you've got the city manager, and they're telling you things. They're giving you information. They're saying, here's information about the fire department. Here's information about what's going on. Then you have frontline firefighters who are giving you information about the fire department, giving you information about what's going on, right? And you have two different competing theories, right? And what you need to decide is where's the middle? Because if you take those two different competing theories and just take one for granted, you have two different impetus for those two theories. Kenneth Johnson, the chief, the city manager, if they're not showing good scores and saying that the fire department is performing, their employment rides on those things. If Chief Johnson comes to you and says the fire department sucks, you're going to fire him. Okay? So he can't come and do that. If the city manager says, I hired a bad fire chief, what's going to happen to the city manager? She can't do that either. So she's got to stick up for him. He's got to stick up for the department he's running. At the same time, sure, the firefighters could be doing something similar. But you need to decide, and that takes investigation. And that's what you need to do. Investigate and listen to both sides.
Next, we have Donald Cleveland, 629 Brothers, Lancaster, Texas.
Thank you, Mayor and the City Council. Sit there listening to the issues, and me bringing this concern seems to be mediocre. But the concern I have and the complaint that I have is due to some concern. And my complaint is this wintergreen, part of wintergreen that passes the Best Buy going toward Lancaster Hutchins Road. That road is terribly damaged. And I travel that road quite often. And it is a hazard. I mean, the potholes are very dangerous. The potholes can damage your front end alignment. And I've traveled down that road, and I'm noticing there has not been any attention given to that road. They used to kind of repair that road. Nothing is being done. So I decided to come and raise a complaint about that particular road. I know that all of the issues here is quite important, but I believe that road is absolutely important to be concerned with, because when we go down that road, there's a possibility you could damage your front end alignment. So I wanted to bring that up as an issue, and I hope that you will be concerned about it and make sure that you can do something about that road. Thank you.
Next, we have Kenneth L. Johnson, 124 5th Street, Lancaster, Texas.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. My name is Kenneth Johnson. I'm here on behalf of 124 5th Street. I'm not here with a title, but here with some concerns of a general citizen who would have, based on some of the comments I've heard, some of the information I've received, that's been inaccurate. I just thought, since I've had a first-hand view of a lot of these things, I wanted to come share some information. The first thing I want you to know is that there's three main complaints from the association. One is they don't like the work schedule. They want a different work schedule. We'll talk about that. Another one is they don't like the hiring and training practices. We'll talk about that. And one is on overtime. First thing I'll talk about is work schedule. They wanted a work schedule that would require them to work 48 hours consistently. I opposed that work schedule. They didn't like it. They opposed. They wanted and made complaints about that. That was a thing that launched a lot of these complaints. 48-hour work schedule means that you can call 911 and someone show up at your house and be working 40 hours straight. And I felt uncomfortable sending somebody to someone who's having an emergency that's been working 40 hours straight. So that was my position on that, and I still stand on that. The second thing they complained about is hiring and training. We changed our hiring and training practices. We once had a period when I first got here, we had 16 vacancies, had a period of time where in order to hire somebody, you had to get 2 or 3 tests to get the vacancies filled. We changed the process now. We have 175 members on the list waiting to be hired. So I think that process is working well. We train the members ourselves. Even many of those association members have said to me that the people that are hiring now, that we're training ourselves, they're better firefighters than the ones that we hired that was already certified when we got here. That process also now requires if you come there certified, you got to go through a mini academy. We still train you. We train you the Lancaster way of doing things. And I'm excited about it. So that program is working well. And the biggest difference is people no longer have to fit in. They simply have to meet our standards and stand up to our values. There was a period of time when if you didn't fit in, you can find what that means for yourself. If you didn't fit in, you had problems. And the third thing I mentioned is that a lot of talk about the apparatus being out of service. They said we put a truck out of service, sitting and safe. If someone called 911, they was in trouble. I don't understand that when I got here, they have gone 10 years without a truck at all. So if you were unsafe without a truck, if you were safe 10 years without a truck, why would you be unsafe if you put a truck out of service for 1 day? That's all that.
Well done.
Yes, sir.
All right, that concludes our citizens' comments. The next thing on the agenda is consent agenda. Items listed on the consent agenda are considered routine and are generally enacted in one motion. The exception to this rule is that a council member may request one or more items to be removed from the consent agenda for separate discussion and action. As we move to exit, again, we want to thank our superintendent of schools and school board members, and Kim and all of them for that presentation. If you're leaving, leave quietly, and if you're going to stay, I would ask you to not stay and be in conversation so we can move on with the agenda, please. I would ask the city secretary to read those items into the record.
C1, consider approval of the minutes from the council regular meeting held on March 23rd, 2026. 2026 and April 13, 2026. C2, consider a professional service agreement with Harper Smith and Associates to an interlocal agreement with 5 Ward for a total amount not to exceed $375,000 for the repair to the indoor aquatics facility. C3, consider a resolution authorizing the purchase of the Ford Transit van from Green Equipment Company through a cooperative agreement, Sourcewell, in an amount not to exceed $120,000. C4, consider a resolution authorizing the purchase of a Case 590 Super End backhoe from ASCO Equipment through an interlocal agreement with 5 Board contract number 788-25 in amount not to exceed $153,400.00. C5, consider a resolution authorizing the purchase of 6 2026 Dodge Durangos in an amount not to exceed $298,543.50. 3, 2026 Chevrolet 2500 trucks with a service bed in an amount not to exceed $191,580.00. 1, 2025 2500 regular cab in an amount not to exceed $47,520.25. And 1, 2023 5500 regular cab dump bed in an amount not to exceed $71,062.25 from Freedom Chevrolet through an interlocal agreement with the City of Dallas, Texas for a total amount not to exceed $608,706.00. C6, consider a resolution authorizing the outfit of 6 2026 Dodge Durangos from Phoenix Company through an interlocal agreement with 5 Board in an amount not to exceed $191,521.50. C7, consider a resolution approving the terms and conditions of an agreement with RTE Rural Water through an interlocal agreement with the Interlocal Purchasing System, TIPS, for the repairs and replacements of the sanitary sewer located near 800 West Brookline Road, including installations and iron pipe, structural supports, and bank stabilization for the amount not to exceed $54,150.00. C8, consider a resolution approving terms and conditions of an agreement with RTE Rural Water through an interlocal agreement with Interlocal Purchasing Systems, TIPS, for the replacement of an 8-inch water line along Elm Street, including associated service lines replacement and service restoration for an amount not to exceed $116,049.00.
Mayor, I'd like to pull item 6.
6.
With that, I make a motion to approve consent agendas 1 through 8 with the exclusion of 6.
I second that.
All right, there's been a motion and a second to approve item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those who oppose say no. Those who abstain say I abstain. Councilmember Burton.
The only reason that I pulled this was just so that the public could know that this council, and it has been for several years, has made a commitment on replacement vehicles. And of course, this is for emergency responders. This is for the police, and that we are consistently working to be able to have new equipment and replace. The interesting thing is, on any of this equipment, it is not something that you buy it, you bring it home, and you put it to use. No. These Durangos are going to have, it's going to take another year before they're outfitted to be able to put into service. It's just when you buy it, we bought a fire truck last spring, and it's taking a whole year to be able to have that fire truck, and it's for Station 4. So we're planning ahead to be able to have equipment in place to be able to have our first responders being able to work. But this is a commitment, and there was at the work session recently where we went over all of this, and you can go online and look and see the things that we are replacing, because there's other things that will be coming forward. But the Dodge Durangos are there to be able to start into service, but They lost the people who did all the outfitting for everybody, and now they have to take these vehicles to Austin to be able to get them outfitted. And it takes almost a year to be able to get them outfitted. So planning ahead and trying to be able to be ahead of the curve. So with that, I move to approve consent item 6.
I second.
All right, there's been a motion and a second to approve consent agenda item number 6. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those who oppose say no. Those who abstain say abstain. All right, it carries. That moves us to our public hearing portion of the agenda. Number 9, item number 9. I would have the city secretary to read that.
Z26-06, conduct a public hearing to consider specific use permit, SUP, for an automobile rental facility on the property legally described as Lot 1, Block 1, out of the Chrysler Edition, addressed as 940 North I-35 East, City of Lancaster, Dallas County, Texas.
City manager.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, members of council. The item before you this evening is for the request to conduct a public hearing and consider a specific use permit for an automobile rental facility on the property addressed as 940 North I-35 East, City of Lancaster. The property is located is approximately 6.7 acres in size. It's located along the service road. The property is zoned, and the future land use map of the comprehensive plan does designate this property as suburban mixed use. This center is designated for regional destinations, including service-related industries, and this automobile rental is consistent with our comprehensive land use plan and the future land use map. The Planning and Zoning Commission did consider the request for this specific use permit on April 7th, 2026 at their regular meeting, and staff is recommending approval of the specific use permit. The notice for this public hearing did appear in the city's official newspaper of record, The Rambler, on February 21st, 2026. Staff also posted signs on the property, and notices were mailed to all property owners within 200 feet of the subject site. 2 letters were received in support, and there were no letters received in opposition. The staff is recommending approval of the specific use permit as it has been presented, and we would be happy to answer any questions should the council have those at this time.
Council, do you have any any questions? Seeing none, I will open the public hearing on this item. Do we have any?
Yes, sir.
Anyone in the audience care to speak on this? Go. And state your name and address.
Ryan Kelly. Address is 4201 North State Highway, 150, Irving, Texas, 75038. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Thank you for letting me come talk to you today. I know it's been a long night, but we just want to tell you a little bit about who we are. Enterprise Mobility, you probably all noticed is Enterprise Rent-A-Car, but we wanted to just show you kind of all the brands that we have and everything we want to bring to your community. Currently, right now, we are just across the street in DeSoto, so we are wanting to come over to Lancaster and do what we can for you right there along I-35. On my next slide, I just want to tell you a little bit about the company. We were founded in 1957. We're still family owned, 3rd generation CEO. So we now have we're in 90 plus countries, global company with 9,500 locations across the world. And then we've also got over 90,000 employees. One of the largest private companies out there and also the largest in North America for rental car. On the next slide, just to tell you a little bit about what we're going to do here in this facility. Here in the Metroplex, we've got 120 locations. I oversee all those. I've also brought my Vice President of the North Texas area, along with a couple of the local area folks that oversee these locations. We've got 1,500 employees, and philanthropically, we donated over $1.8 million last year. One other piece that 20 years ago, Jack Taylor, our founder, started a donation of planting 1 million trees every year. So we just reached 20 years on that this last month. But for our location here in Lancaster, we're going to have 31 employees. You can see some of the tax revenue that we will bring over just moving across the way. It is a very busy location if you've been over there. Currently the site is just challenged with parking, and we're looking forward to having a space that we can adequately help the neighborhood and the community. But on the last slide, I just have a picture of what we plan on doing with the building. If you're familiar with Auto City, right now it's a dark brick. with just a silver wraparound. We plan on kind of dressing up that wraparound, making it a little more dramatic entrance for the doorway to your city. So happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Council, do you have any questions?
No, I'd just like to welcome you to Lancaster.
Well, I'd like to make a statement. I'm glad you saw the light and came across the highway. So, because I have rented from your company on the other side, but I'm glad you're on our side and being part of our community. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Anyone else? Appreciate that presentation. Thank you, Lord. All right, at this time, I will close the public hearing. Council, what's your pleasure?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the special use permit, the specific use permit for item 9.
Second.
All right, there's been a motion and a second to approve public hearing item number 9. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those who oppose, say no. Those who abstain, say abstain. All right, it carries. That moves us to public hearing item number 10, City Secretary.
Z26-07, conduct a public hearing and consider an ordinance granting a zoning change from Commercial Highway CH to Planned Development PD with CH uses and monument work stones and metal uses, and a variance request to section 14.101B2A open space requirements of the Lancaster Development Code on the property addressed as 3415, 3419, and 3423 Sherwood Avenue, legally described as Lot 32R, Block D of the Granite Addition, City of Lancaster, Dallas County, Texas.
City Manager.
Yes, Mayor, members of council, this is a zoning request and also a request for a variance to a section of the code. This is for property addresses 3415, 3419, and 3423 Sherwood Avenue. It's approximately 0.734 acres in size. The property is currently zoned commercial highway. This is a request to change that zoning from a commercial highway to a planned development, which allows for some specific uses related to monument work, stone, and metal uses. This is also a request to have an exception or variance to our open space requirement on the property. The future land use map of the comprehensive plan does designate this property as suburban mixed-use center, which also allows for retail-oriented services, lifestyle centers. The proposed commercial highway uses, including the monument work, stone, and metal, are consistent with the comprehensive land use plan. The Planning and Zoning Commission did consider this at their April 7th, 2026 meeting. They did recommend approval of the item. When considering a case for a planned development, we look at the consistency with the comprehensive land use plan, the adjacent and proposed uses around it, the configuration of the site and its compatibility with adjoining uses, as well as its compliance with the thoroughfare plan. With this, there is the request for the variance to the open space, and Lancaster Development Code requires that 20% of the gross land area in any planned development be devoted to open space. In this instance, the applicant, there is no proposed open space as a part of this request, given that the site has existing development and there is no expansion being proposed at this time. They're going within the footprint of the building as it is, and so we're not recommending that take place. There's also no requirement for a traffic impact analysis to be done on the site. This was again considered at the Planning and Zoning Commission's regular meeting. A notice for this public hearing did appear in our newspaper record, The Rambler, on February 21st, 2026. A sign was posted on the property, and notices were mailed to property owners within 200 feet of the subject site. There were no letters of support or opposition received for this case. The Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval as the item has been presented, and staff concurs with that recommendation, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
Council, do you have any questions for the city manager or staff? Seeing none, at this time we will open the public hearing portion of the meeting. Is anyone here in the audience care to speak on this item? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Council, what's your pleasure?
I make a motion to approve item 10.
A second.
All right, there's been a motion and a second to approve public hearing item number 10. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Those who abstain say abstain. It carries. Council, that moves us to action item number 11, City Secretary.
Discuss and consider a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a professional architecture service agreement with A.C.T. Architects for the design service related to renovations at 690 and 700 East Main Street for an amount not to exceed $353,500.
City Manager.
Mayor, members of council, the Lancaster Animal Shelter is a division of the Neighborhood Services Department. During your strategic planning session, you did recommend that the city look at improvements and expansion of the Lancaster Animal Shelter. The shelter is responsible for the animals in our city. You had a facility assessment done by Randall Scott Architects in the fiscal year of 22-23, and they did examine all of the city's facilities. 16 of those facilities were examined, and an evaluation score was provided based on the Facility Conditions Index, with 690 and 700 East Main being explored and looked at for animal shelter renovation and expansion. At the 2024 Texas Municipal League, during your annual conference, the City Council did engage or participated in a session where HED shared their experiences related to taking existing envelopes of buildings and doing renovations priorities. And again, in 2025, during the strategic planning session, we did identify this as a priority for the City Council. In November of 2025, the Animal Shelter Advisory Committee did receive a conceptual project update and reviewed the functionality and looking at what the expectations would be for the expansion of 690 and renovation of 700. On December 8th of 2025, the City Council also received a presentation that incorporated the comments and conversations that were received from the Animal Shelter Advisory Board. Following the City Council's presentation, we have come back forward based on that input, providing for a project scope and project services, which would include evaluating our existing shelter to ensure that we continue to be in compliance with all of the state requirements and regulations, and in making any necessary repairs or upgrades. And this takes 700 East Main Street, which is a 12,500 square foot facility, and taking the inside, gutting that, and renovating it for expansion of the animal shelter, which would expand not only our dog capacity for shelter attendance, but also expand us into being able to care for and house cats. This is an architectural design agreement for professional services. We are recommending that council approve the agreement with HED for all the design projects of scope of this project for a total amount of $353,500. You will recall also when we did our audit presentation that we identified that we had set aside a little bit more than what this came in at. And so we do have the adequate funds set aside to cover the cost of this project. Staff is recommending approval, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
Council, do you have any questions or comments for the city manager or staff?
I'll say a few words. I am currently not this time in favor of this. I think this is too much money to be spent on what we're spending it on just for design at this current time. We don't know the future of the facilities and what's going to happen. It's not the right time. And, I know we think we're doing well financially, but from what I see in our infrastructure and everything else, we have a lot more money invested in those areas. I know, and then some people say we have good credit. I know that's something I like to talk about, but the best way to lose good credit is to spend too much. That's a good way. Good credit leads to bad credit if you don't manage it properly. And so that's the way I think the city's headed. We got a lot more areas to put the money in infrastructure with things that benefit our constituents and our business owners every day rather than this facility, especially just for the design. So I'm not in favor of this right now.
All right, council. Anyone else has comments or questions?
I have a comment, and I am in favor of this because of the fact that we do have but it's all city, it's not just us. We do have an issue within our city of more stray animals, the cats, that they cannot handle them. This has been a flashpoint for a lot of people who support the animal shelter about not having more capacity. And the fact that we are going to have more capacity and that cats will be included on it, I think it's a very positive thing. Anything that you do nowadays costs money to be able to do design. This is not a This is not going to be a luxury design. It's going to be a down and dirty, functional facility to be able to try to address some of those issues. And the fact that we are investing into this for the citizens, because we need to be able to do this, to take care of the animals that we do have that are stray, and be able to have our citizens be able to have a place that they're able to come to adopt, to bring their animals if they've got to surrender them or other things, or to bring strays to the shelter, to be able to have that increased capacity. So I applaud that we are still moving forward to look at improving our facilities and investing in the facilities, because look at what happened to Dallas with their city hall. They did deferred maintenance. We're looking at trying to make sure our facilities are going to be able to serve our constituents for a long time. With that, I make a motion to approve item 11.
I second that.
All right, there's been a motion and a second to approve action item 11. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those who oppose, say no.
No.
Those who abstain, say abstain. And it carries. That moves us to action item number 12, City Secretary.
M26-17, discuss and consider a resolution to accept a fire lane access and utility access easement being 4.405 acres from the Dallas CSD BP Investors 1 LLC grantor to the City of Lancaster grantee for the construction, maintenance, operation, and repairs of the water line, sewer line, meter vaults, and the appurtenance necessary to provide connection to the city water and sewer system for the fire lanes access, establishing conditions, providing for the furnishing of a certified copy of this resolution for recording in the property records of Dallas County, Texas as a deed.
All right, City Manager.
Mayor, members of council, this is a request to accept an easement. All easement and land acquisition requests require city council authorization, as you've done many times related to easements. This is a utility easement and a fire lane access located at 1110 East Pleasant Run Road at a cold storage facility, Oracle warehouse development. The owner is deeding or granting the access easement, and staff is recommending approval as it has been reviewed by our Public Works Department and considered necessary for us to maintain our utilities within the area. We are recommending approval as it has been presented, and would be happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
All right. Council, do you have any questions or comments? All right, what's your pleasure?
I make a motion to approve action item 12.
Second.
There's been a motion to approve action item number 12 and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those who oppose, say no. Those who abstain, say abstain. It carries. That moves us to action item number 13, City Secretary.
Discuss and consider a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute the second amendment to Chapter 380 agreement with NTT Global Data Center Americas, Inc. to modify Section 4H to allow for a one-time donation of $300,000 and establish effective dates.
City Manager.
Yes, Mayor and members of council, this item before you is an amendment to an incentive agreement that the city executed with NTT Global Data Centers America, a data center company that is based out of the country of Japan. NTT is requesting to modify their community involvement section of their agreement, which is located in Section 4H, to allow for a one-time donation of $300,000. The original agreement called for annual donations of $50,000 during the first terms of the agreement. NTT closed on the property that's located at the northwest corner of Beltline and Sunrise Road, and all other terms of this incentive agreement remain intact. The company is indicating that at the close and completion of their project, they will create 27 new jobs with an average wage of no less than $80,000, and the property is proposed to come on the tax roll with an evaluation of no less than $110 million, which is a requirement for them to receive their incentive. NTT will receive a 30% rebate on their real and business personal property tax for a period of 10 years. This percentage can increase based on this agreement if their valuation comes in higher than the $110 million. And as you're aware, as a part of these agreements, the applicant is not allowed to protest their evaluations during the term of the agreement to meet their requirements for what the value is supposed to be granted to the city. Staff is recommending approval of this grant amendment as it has been presented, and we're happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
Council, do you have any questions or comments? Seeing none, what's your pleasure?
I make a motion to approve action item 13.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve action item number 13. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those who oppose say no. Those who abstain shall abstain. It carries. That moves us to action item number 14. City Secretary.
Discuss and consider confirmations of appointments made by the mayor for the City of Lancaster Zoning Board of Adjustment vacant position.
All right, Council, I would like to move Ms. Black from the alternate to the regular position and Mr. Gregory Gray to the alternate position.
Mayor, I make a motion to accept your nominations.
I second.
All right, there's been a motion and a second to accept my nomination. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those who oppose, say no. Those who abstain shall abstain. It carries. That moves us to our executive session. City Secretary.
In accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, the City Council will convene an executive session to consider the following matters. 1, Section 551.071, pending, threatened, contemplated, or potential related litigations in regards to A, real property located at 1508 Dewberry Boulevard, Bel Air Place Apartment. B, sales tax audits. C, requested disannexation for 2 parcels totaling approximately 104.4 acres. D, potential contested matters involving the city's Certificate of Convenience and Necessity, CCN, before the Public Utilities Commission, PUC. E, hotel tax collection litigation. F, code enforcement and substandard properties issued at the real property addressed as 1102 Katy Street. 2, Section 551.071, A1 of the Texas Government Code to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, duties, or dismissal of a public officer to wit city secretary.
All right, Council, it is 8:30 p.m. Meet us in the conference room.